Hi. So I'm here today to talk to you about an audience that a lot of people don't give a lot of thought. In fact, I didn't give it a lot of thought until we started working with a client of ours that made me stop and think. So let's think about a persona for a moment. This is Ray, and Ray is 68 years old. He makes $70,000 a year. He's a financial planner, and he's married with 2 kids. But it also just so happens that Ray is blind. And Ray uses a screen reader to navigate the internet. Yes, blind people do use the internet. So Ray's daughter just graduated from college, and Ray's decided he's going to buy her a car and he wants to get some car insurance. So he hops on the internet and he does a quick search and he lands on this landing page here. Nice looking landing page, right? Simple. But I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. And you can experience then what Ray might hear. Image, logo, car12.png. Edit. Submit. How do you think Ray feels right now? Does he want to buy car insurance from this company? Now, what if he heard this instead? Hi, we've detected that you're using a screen reader, so please use the tab key on your keyboard and enter your first name and submit the form. Wouldn't that be a better user experience than what Ray experienced the first time? Now, you might think this is a niche market that, well, only 1 or 2 blind people are using the internet. Only a couple of people with disabilities have this issue. When, in fact, 57 million people are living with a disability in America. And this is a growing population. As Americans age, as people around the world age, this market is getting larger. This audience is getting larger. So in 1991, the Americans with Disabilities Act was passed, and that helped people start to think about the physical barriers that existed to businesses. You saw ramps go in, larger doors, that sort of thing. But people haven't really begun to think about removing barriers to information on the internet. So the top things that are happening on websites these days are things like images are missing alt text, or it's meaningless alt text that is being put on these images. Or when you get to a website, you can't navigate using a keyboard. If you aren't able to use a mouse because something is wrong with your hands, you can't use the keyboard to navigate around on that site. You might also want to think about the fact that when you're using a form, that there's no label on that form. It just says edit instead of first name or last name. If you're filling out a form using a screen reader or trying to use your voice to navigate around, you need to have those cues to know what to do on those forms. Also, if you're using a screen reader and there's dynamic content, like a little date picker comes up or something like that, and the screen changes, if that piece of dynamic content isn't accessible to one of these assistive devices, these people can also not use that content. And finally, color contrast. This is a huge one in today's modern design standards. That kind of color contrast is not accessible to people who have difficulty seeing. So you want to consider some of these things, or at least we started to consider these things when we were designing websites and doing marketing. Now, if you don't believe me, I want you to try something when you get home. I want you to put your mouse away and try using your internet, or your website. And you can't use the trackpad. That's cheating. Also, you can use free tools. There are lots of tools out there that you can use to audit your website and see where the errors are and what kind of things are happening when people are using these assistive devices to access your site. And there are compliance standards that you can change your website to fix those things. The other thing is when you're putting your personas together as marketers, take a second to think about these people that you're designing your marketing for and think about whether or not any of them could possibly have a cognitive impairment, a physical impairment, or a visual impairment that might prevent them from using your marketing. Additionally, think about your style guidelines. Look at that color contrast. What kind of fonts are you using? Are you designing things in a way that will make them accessible to these people? If you can consider these things, test for them, plan for them, and do it up front before somebody complains and you have to go back and rip everything out and fix it, you're going to truly create marketing that everybody loves. You'll remove barriers to information so that everybody can truly have access to the content that you're providing to them. Thank you.